Hello Libra, Libra Rising, and Libra Moon people. This is your weekly astrological and card horoscope for the week starting April 10th, 2017. And yes, I did make that video on why your rising sign is so relevant and why you should be checking that out. And you can find that video on the main channel page. It's going to be at the very top. It's under recommended viewing. It might even show up in a little reminder in this video. So it's there. It's there. And of course, if you ever want to get a private session with me, you can always go to my website, integrativemysticism.com, or follow the links below. So what is going on with your astrology this week, Libra? Well, early on in the week, on the 11th, we've got a full moon in your sign, forming a charming sextile to Saturn, currently getting over its station retrograde situation, in your third house of communications. And whenever we have a full moon in our sign, remember, it's a clearing moon. It's about getting rid of the crap, so to speak. It's about getting rid of what we don't want to take with us into the next phase, or, as in this case, this second half that begins, the second half of your solar year, going up until we get into your sign in the autumn, in the northern hemisphere anyway. So, what does this mean? Well, when we have a sextile, remember, something is leaning in for support. Something's coming and helping you out. Something that is, again, going to clear or release either what you might consider to be a burden, or a ball and chain, possibly even a friendship, or a business relationship, or maybe even a contract you don't want to carry on. If you're trying to get out of something that you have felt bound to, this is the kind of energy you want to see, and over the next 2 weeks we might actually see you being able to get out of something you thought you were stuck with. Later on in the week, we've got the Sun conjunct Uranus in your 7th house of partnerships, your closest one-on-one relationships. That's your boyfriend, girlfriend, BFF, husband, wife, roommate, business partner, all the people you spend all that one-on-one time with and exchange all your one-on-one energy with the most. And whenever the Sun conjuncts Uranus, we're kind of breaking a rule, but we're breaking a rule that needs to be broken. And this is something that you and this other person have been perhaps doing that makes neither of you very happy. You know, and this can be a good thing to pay attention to. Where are we sort of trying to behave a certain way, or have a certain set of rules or a certain expectation that we don't even want to live up to? There's a difference between can live up to and want to live up to. And you and your partner, or you and your friend, may be realizing it's almost like wearing somebody else's clothes. It's kind of like, we're living a lie. Why can't we just be a good pair, being ourselves? And this may be, you and your partner, or you and your friend or whoever, starting to break some rules, or to at least get rid of some rules that either A, that you guys have set in place, or B, move away from people, or maybe even a situation that you are not happy with. We may be deciding that, we're no longer happy living in the place that we are, and we're going to try and find a way to get out of this lease. Or we're going to, if it's a business partner, we're going to try and work away from, maybe some associations that we have that are not actually helping us build our business. When it comes to, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife kind of situations, we may be breaking some rules that we put out there, but it's not necessarily doing us any good, or much less maybe even our kids or our relatives. So we're kind of taking something back off the table, but again, it's actually in the best interest of all concerned. So what's going on with your cards this week? Well, for your spiritual advice, we do have the card of the Elf Queen. And the Elf Queen does talk about the burden of leadership. It does talk about the need to pay attention to, the taking responsibility for other people's happiness, including ours. Okay, not excluding ours, but including ours. When we talk about the Elf Queen, it does talk about sort of the loneliness, or maybe even respecting the position of being the captain of the ship, or being the leader. And when it comes to this card, we have to pay attention to where we're not necessarily seeing that burden being supported. The Elf Queen can talk about a need to take responsibility for maybe even looking at who's given the right jobs in your life and the wrong jobs in your life. It doesn't mean that anyone's bad for you, but sometimes we accidentally give people roles that they're just not good at. If your best friend, you give her all the responsibility of doing X, Y, and Z, and she's not good at it. It's not that she's a bad person, she's just not good at it. And same thing would go for a romantic partner, and so and so. So I think that what the Elf Queen is talking about a lot this week is starting to see the situation for how it really is, and not the way we are trying to force it to be. There can be a need to pay attention to where also being a leader means getting your hands more dirty this week than you normally like. You know, nowadays we kind of glorify the idea of being a leader as somebody who delegates and doesn't get their, doesn't get their delicate fingers too dirty. Maybe not so much this week, and you might find it's more satisfying to be out, on the, boots on the ground with everyone else too. For your Earth sector, when it comes to your work and finances, we have the King of Wands reversed. This card can prove to be a bit of a disappointment because we may be finding out that, again, somebody who's stuck their nose out to be an ally of ours, and maybe in terms of moral support, in terms of esteem, they are our ally, but they're not actually living up to their boasts. And the King of Wands reverse can often show where somebody's not living up to his or her boasts. Usually this shows up as a fire sign, an Aries, Leo, or a Sagittarius, but it could be anyone who just happens to have a lot of that fire type of energy in their chart or in their disposition. And with the King of Wands reversed, we say something's not living up to its boasts. What is it? Is it a new job that we've been offered? Is it a new financial plan that we're about to sign on? Is it a new business partner? Is it a client or a customer? Is it a boss? We have something that is not fulfilling its role or their job. They're not making good on their promises this week. Now we have a chance to nip this in the bud, and again, make sure that we don't stay bound to this person or to this situation. And I think it's very important to pay attention to where sometimes we humor people because we think that this is their chance, but we have to think about our chances as well. Who cares? Anyway, we've got the Three of Pentacles upright for your communications with air when it comes to your friends, your relatives, and the others in your life. So it doesn't look like those of you who are job hunting or thinking about this in a strictly financial matter are going to be suffering. In fact, the Three of Pentacles upright is saying that there is going to be an alternative, or possibly even a new team being put on the table for you to join, a new group, a new, I guess you could say even a new community, be it professional, artistic, or even spiritual. And with the Three of Pentacles, this is kind of saying, look, you have been, again, a lot of Libra people, I think a lot of you have been working hard on trying to maybe inflate how the good work, or overstate the good work that people do for you, when in actuality you've got a more capable team around you at this point in time, or it's coming your way. The Three of Pentacles could indicate somebody going out and actually even offering you an opportunity to go work with them, or maybe they're presenting an opportunity where everyone in that group is already working on boosting their finances or boosting their creative aspirations, and you're being invited to join them. But it will mean that you will have to, excuse yourself from other affiliations that are not paying off anyway. So, this could be a good out for a lot of you. For your challenge this week with fire, we do have the Page of Pentacles reversed. This week you need to be careful, Libra, to make sure that you are seeing where people are not, I guess you could say, substantiating proof of their goodwill, or again, maybe even of their own experiences. People, because usually when you have the Page of Pentacles reversed, you get a lot of lip service, you get a lot of hearsay, but you don't have anything solid. And I think that with the Page of Pentacles reversed, this could talk about a need to start asking for proofs, show me the receipts, that kind of thing. And with the Page of Pentacles reversed, it can also indicate a need for you, Libra, to pay attention to don't always be the first one to put something down, put money down, put, proof or effort down, or sign on the dotted line first, because the Page of Pentacles reversed is talking about, a need to pay attention to where people are just kind of blowing smoke versus actually, again, as we've seen as a huge theme going on here, living up to the promises that they are actually putting out there for you. The Page of Pentacles reversed may also indicate that, a challenge may be, on a personal level, taking back investments that you have made in folks that are not paying off. And it might not be a challenge in the sense that I don't think they're not going to give them back to you. It may be a challenge because you may feel like taking this back is a betrayal, but it's not. For your challenge this week with fire, we've got the Three of Wands reversed. This card is not actually as bad as it looks, okay? The Three of Wands reversed is basically saying here, this is more like a humorous, sort of romantic comedy kind of week, I think, when it comes to your love life. And if we treat it that way, it's not going to be bad. Because the Three of Wands reversed is basically saying there may be an important message that goes missing between you and a crush or you and a lover. And if somebody doesn't get it, somebody doesn't check that text, or somebody doesn't, it doesn't get delivered, even for technical reasons. It could be a technical reason. somebody may take things a little bit too personally and just go a bit too far. And we have to make sure that that doesn't happen this week, because the Three of Wands reverse is just basically saying this is a week where there could be some misunderstandings, or perhaps even, again, it's something that is missing, like a missing element. We're not acting with all the information we need. The Three of Wands reverse can also indicate, though, a need to pay attention to where a partner or a crush is not actually doing their due diligence when it comes to their own interests, their own aspirations. You know, and sometimes that happens. Sometimes we want our lover or our crush to, you know, to succeed, whether it's at work or with their friends or just even when they're having, you know, a fun time. But it's kind of like, maybe they're not asking for it all to come easy in a silver spoon, but they're not actually following through. They're not keeping up on things. Now, we got to find a way to, again, embrace the role of being, you know, a bit of a leader and motivate this person without becoming off too strong. But I also feel like at the same time you may be noticing, it's like, look, you're wasting this opportunity. You know, you're not following through, you're not following up, you're not staying consistent. They're staying consistent with you, but this is something that matters to them as well, and it might just not be very easy to watch them let this opportunity slide by. So that is your horoscope, Libra. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And of course, if you ever want to get a session, you can always follow the links below, or go to integrativemysticism.com.